Okay, class, we're about to start section 7.4, percents and problem solving. Okay, the first thing you have to recall is the problem solving process that we had in section 6.3. Now, this basically goes through the same steps except for when we get to translate the problem into an equation, it just tells you an extra step you could use for putting this in the form using a percent. Now, we will get to this as we solve for the first problem here. Okay, now it tells us approximately 11% of all films are rated PG-13. If 350 films were recently released, how many of them were rated PG-13? So now what we need to do is find X is equal to PG-13 movies. Okay, now we defined our variable. Now they tell us 11% of all films are rated PG-13. 350 films are recently released. How many of them were rated PG-13? So that'd be X, which is the amount of PG-13 movies. Now it tells us here that 11% of all films, the films that we're concentrating on here is 350. So we would take 11%, the word of, we know means multiplication, and it's 350. Now written mathematically, it'd be X is equal to 0.11, because we'd change 11% to a decimal. And we know we would take this decimal is assumed to be here, and we'll move it 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign. Of means multiplication, and 350. So now we will put this equation here, and we will solve. So we'll take 0.11 times 350. Now we could drop this decimal, and what I like to do is put the longer number on top and the shorter number at the bottom after we drop this decimal. 1 times 0 is 1, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 3 is 3. We add a 0 here. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 3 is 3. So now we have 0, 5, 8, and 3. Now we count how many digits we have behind the decimal total. We have 2 digits behind the decimal, so that would give us 38.50. So X would equal to 38.50. Now, we know in films we do not have half of a movie. So we will round this up to the next highest movie, which would take us to 39. It's approximately 39 movies were PG-13. So when we write out our final answer, which is step 4, we could put there were about 39 PG-13 movies. And that is your final answer. Now, we scroll down here to the next example. It says tuition for a math class was $380. Books for the class cost $135, and the calculator cost $30. What percent of the total cost was for books? Now, they say what percent of the total cost. So X is percent of total cost for books. So now we have to define our equation. Now it says what percent of the total cost was for books. So now we could do it like this here. We could say X. So what we would do is we would first add up all of these numbers here. So we'd take 380, 135, and also 30. So this will give us 5, 11, it'll be 14, and this will give us $545. Now that is the total cost. So what we need to do is set this up in the equation. So we have $545 times X is equal to the cost of the books. So now we have 545X is equal to $135. We divide each side by $545. These will simplify out and leave you X. So X is equal to, now we could simplify this. We could divide the numerator and denominator by 5. And this will give us 27 over 109. Now, what we have here is 27 over 109. Now we would take 109 into 27 so we could get our percent. So we would have 109 to 27. Let's add 2 digits behind the decimal. 109 into 27 goes 0 times. 109 goes into 270 twice. So that'll give you 218. 270 minus 218 is 52. Bring down our 0. 109 into 520 goes 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. Carry your 3. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. And 4 times 1 is 4. So 520 minus 436. Let's see. This will give us 11, 10, and 4. 10 minus 6 is 4. 11 minus 3 is 8. So we had 84. We add a 0. So now we'll take 109 into 840. That will go 7 times. 7 times 109 will give you 763. Now this is getting quite lengthy, but we'll borrow 1 from this 4. 10 minus 3 is 7. And we have to borrow 1 from the 8 and make this 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. And 7 minus 7 is 0. So we add a 0 here. And 109 goes into 770 7 times. Now what we're going to do, we're going to stop here. Typically we round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So this is what we would do. We would move this decimal 2 places to the right. So then that'll give us 24 point. And then we will have to round this 7 up. So it'll be 24.8%. So this is X is approximately 24.8%. So the percentage or the percent of the total cost for books is about 24.8%. Now we scroll down to the next page here. It says a union contract was settled for a 3.5% salary increase. Find the new salary of a worker who was making $48,000 under the old contract. So we define our variable. X is the new salary. Okay, now we scroll down here. It said the contract was set up for 3.5% salary increase. Now we want to find a new salary, and we were making $48,000 under the old contract. Now, in order for you to get a salary increase, we know we would take the original salary. Actually, I shouldn't have put the X here. The original salary, which is $48,000, plus the increase, so it'll be 48,000 times the 3.5%. And that will give us the new salary. Because you take the old salary and add in the increase, and that will give you the new salary. Put my dollar signs here. So we will have $48,000 plus $48,000. We'll change this 3.5% to a decimal, which is 0.035. So now, and that equals X. So now we need to go off to the side. We could take 48,000 and multiply it by 35. We'll just drop that decimal. So we have 0, 0, 0. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry a 4. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 4 is 24. We add a 0. We add 3 zeros. And 3 times 8 is 24. Carry a 2. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. So now we will add these together. So we have 0, 0, 0. We have another 0. 4 and 4 is 8. 4 and 2 is 6. And we bring down our 1. Now, we count how many digits we had behind the decimal in the original problem. We had 3. So this will end up being 1,680.000. So this would be 48,000 plus 1,680 is equal to X. Now we add these together. It will give us $49,680. That would be the new salary. So the new salary is $49,680. Now we scroll down here. It says the school district experienced a 7% enrollment decline. If last year's enrollment was 6,850 students, how many are enrolled this year? So X is enrolled students this year. Now, for our equation, we would take last year's enrollment, which was 6,850, and we would have to subtract the decline. So we'll take 6,850 times 7%, and that equals to the enrollment this year. So now, we'll write this equation out as 6,850 minus 6,850 times 0.07 is equal to X. Now we have to go off to the side and take this 6,850 and multiply it by 7, because we would drop the decimal here. So this would be 0. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 3 is 59. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 5 is 47. So we add 2 digits behind the decimal, so it'd be 479.50. So it'd be 6,850 minus 479.50 is equal to X. Now, when we subtract this, 6,850 minus 479.50, we will add 2 zeros here. This would be 0. We have to borrow 1 from this 5. This would be 4. This would become 10. This would become 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down your decimal. 10 minus 9 is 1. And 4. Okay, class, I made a slight error in my subtraction here. So I want you to disregard this here. Everything else is correct, but just disregard this here. And what I would do is correct this in the next video.